Hello everyone, this is Aryan Thakkar, your coach and mentor, and welcome back to my YouTube channel on ARYAN Tutorials, where in this video we are going to deal with ISC Class 12's Macbeth Act 5 Scene 3. But if you haven't been through your text, then immediately stop this video. First go read your text and then come back to this insightful revision video of Scene 3 of Act 5. So let's dig into it. Over here in Act 5 Scene 3, as you can see, the words which I have used is delusion and decadence. So this scene takes place back in Dunsinane, where Macbeth is dwelling upon delusion. So he has become delusion and he continues to rely upon the witch's prophecy, the prophecy presented by the apparitions that until unless Burnham Wood moves to Dunsinane Hill or Macbeth confronts anyone who's not born of a woman, he shall not be vanquished. So this shows that his vaulting ambition and his reliance upon prophecy has blinded him to his fate, and he cannot see his impending doom which is approaching. At the same time, the word decadence का मतलब होता है, it is basically decadence का मतलब होता है social, political and moral collapse. ठीक है, it means a complete collapse of all the three orders, which is moral, political and social. So that is decadence. This is one umbrella term which can be used for the collapse of the order, which has become now inverse under Macbeth's tyrannical rule. Let's quickly get into it. Talking about the quick summary, this scene particularly takes place in Macbeth's castle at Dunsinane, where Macbeth is in a state of violent confidence mixed with panic. Although he is dwelling upon overconfidence, as echoed by Hecate, that security is mortal's chiefest enemy. So she, through the apparition, has fueled Macbeth's mind with overconfidence, which he is relying upon, at the same time mixed with apprehension, panic as well. He hears the army is approaching. Basically, a messenger comes to inform Macbeth that the English army is at hand, is near, and is approaching. But he continues to cling on to the witch's prophecy that no one born of a woman or the Burnham Wood cannot move, so that he shall not be vanquished, he cannot be overthrown. Macbeth orders to Satan, ठीक है, Seyton, he asks Satan to bring him his armor to be brought and prepares for the battle in this particular scene. Now, basically a servant comes and reports, मैंने already आपको बता दिया कि English army rebels are approaching in large number. Macbeth reacts with rage and insult, which shows that he indeed is a tyrant, because he uses abuses, he makes use of abuses to insult that servant, which shows that his country under his rule, that is Scotland under Macbeth rule, is basically under tyranny. ठीक है? Although a doctor is summoned, Macbeth shares a conversation with doctor about Lady Macbeth, where the doctor says that Lady Macbeth is mentally disturbed. Lady Macbeth is mentally disturbed, to which Macbeth demands, again, which is a portrayal of his tyranny, the doctor to cure her of her sickness. But then doctor says that her sickness is psychological and not physical, which is beyond repair. He cannot cure her of her illness. To which Macbeth becomes desperate, angry, and increasingly hollow. He says that all the medicines are nonsense, and he portrays himself to be that of a detached husband, which shows that their relationship has completely been stained permanently. Maybe it is because of the fact he is so busy with dealing with the upcoming war that he has no time to go and soothe Lady Macbeth, which should be a duty of a husband. ठीक है? Again, this contrasts with that of Macduff, who had actually, aggrieved over Lady Macduff and his family's death. Now, Macbeth's false confidence is basically a tragic delusion. As audience, we are already aware that prophecies can be lopsided. There could be some loopholes in the prophecy, in some way or the other it is going to come true, which makes the evil creature ambiguous in their nature. That is, witches, they use ambiguity, they use ambiguous statement to trick, to trick mortal beings and to fuel them with overconfidence, which ultimately leads to their tragic downfall, here in case of Macbeth. So Macbeth is not truly fearless. He is basically clinging to the prophecy. He only wants to believe that part of prophecy which he feels is working in his favor, but is actually not in his favor anymore. His bravery is now desperation disguised as courage. Although outwardly he appears to be strong, but inwardly he himself is troubled, and he knows that his desperation might lead to his own downfall. Key idea over here is that Macbeth's confidence is no longer heroic, it is blind and it is self destructive. Macbeth basically summons his own destruction or his own death bell upon him. Okay? Now, there is a portrayal of psychological breakdown as well in this particular scene. Although he deals with the servant in rage and in fury, and he's trying to deny all the things which are being uttered and spoken by the character, it is just a portrayal of his paranoia and forced boldness. He continuously swings between the two extremes, where this is a collapse of a man who once had the rightful conscience and moral hesitation. While he was about to commit Duncan's regicide, he was hesitant, but now he has drowned so far in bloodshedding that he no longer is able to contain his sanity and his peace of mind. He only has rage. Rage means anger, and emptiness, hollowness, and isolation, which makes him dwell upon the old age, where he has become nihilistic. Nihilistic matlab someone who considers life to be meaningless, जिसके लिए जीवन में और कोई रस ना बचा हो और कुछ अच्छा ना बचा हो. Where he says that he wished to have accompanied his old age with love, respect, honor, but instead of that there is just hollowness, there is just condemnation, there is just internal hatred in the mind of all the aristocrats and his peers, and they have left him alone and isolated. So Scotland is basically sick. Then the reason being is Macbeth himself. Lady Macbeth is also sick because of her own internal guilt, and Macbeth wants medicine, but that guilt cannot be cured by a doctor. So this makes Macbeth's condition that of a tragic, and he becomes symbolic sin, which produces just inner decay into his country. Now, talking about tyranny and dramatic irony, Macbeth is indeed portrayed as a tyrant because he abuses his servant, calling him as a cream-faced loon. He rules through fear and not through loyalty, which reiterates Act 5, Scene 2's words, nothing in love, where the nobles had said that no one follows Macbeth's instruction out of their love. Rather, it is out of just compulsion. Now, at the same time, there is a dramatic irony where Macbeth thinks prophecies can guarantee him victory, but the audience who are watching this particular play or reading, they are already prepared and aware that the prophecies are the reason which is going to destroy him or lead to his downfall and destruction. His trust in supernatural power becomes his own fatal, deadly flaw. ठीक है? Loophole. Talking about the character sketch of Macbeth in this particular scene, his current state is arrogant, isolated, and emotionally numb. He's not even able to fathom with Lady Macbeth's emotional turmoil and breakdown, which a husband should have. And then his courage is not noble, it is just the courage of a concerned, cornered animal. He has been isolated and he has to maintain a facade so that the other people do not leave his side. So basically, dual nature of Macbeth is portrayed here, where he is both a villain and a victim of his own ambition, which is why he is a tragic tyrant in decline, who is collapsing now. Now, talking about the character sketch of the doctor and the servant, doctor represents the reason and reality. His presence highlights that Macbeth is nothing but just a helpless tyrant and the limits of the power. That is, even king cannot command the mind to heal. He demands doctor to cure Lady Macbeth of her disturbed frame of mind, but then it is their own past crime which has led to this degenerative portal where they have entered and they cannot come out of it. And then the servant is basically a symbol of Macbeth's broken authority, shows Macbeth's paranoia and cruelty, the way in which he addresses or charges the servant. Now, talking about some of the theme alignments, fate versus free will is highlighted here, where the prophecy is not just a protection, it is just a trap, and Macbeth is incapable of understanding that. Tyranny is portrayed here. Scotland is suffering under him, the way in which he abuses the servant. And guilt and consequences are evident through Lady Macbeth's sleepwalking portrayal once again, where Macbeth himself is mentally corroding and Lady Macbeth's illness proves that guilt survives power. In other words, when you dwell in vaulting ambition, all that comes along is guilt and no peace and sanity. At the same time, appearance versus reality is evident as well. Macbeth outwardly tries to appear fearless, but in reality, we as audience know that he is internally terrified and unstable, and he is just a disease which needs to be healed immediately. Macbeth demands cure like a customer, but then moral corruption cannot be healed medically. That is what doctors' words convey or portray. Some of the quotation which you should be using in your answers are: bring me no more report, let them fly them all. Till Burnham would remove to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. What he was that, what's he? Who is that person that was not born of a woman? And the devil damn thee, black thou cream faced loom. These are some of the quotation. Alongside, I have lived long enough. My way of life is just fallen into sear like the yellow leaf. That which should accompany old age, I must not look to have. And more need she the divine, that is doctor's word, than the physician. Cure her of that, throw psychic to the dog. Basically, this shows helplessness and he rejects reality. Now, some of the important lines, you can take a screenshot of this if you want, where Macbeth's confidence is not just bravery, it's just delusional. Shakespeare portrays Macbeth as a tyrant who has lost the human ability to feel, to empathize with her own wife, and the prophecy becomes Macbeth's psychological crutch. Crutch means basically grip or hold, and a tragic blindfold. The disease motif intensifies when Scotland is infected by Macbeth's tyranny and Lady Macbeth is consumed by that guilt. The effects of those tyranny is also evident through Lady Macbeth's sleepwalking. And the yellow leaf imagery symbolizes a life which has been robbed, which has जिसको चोरी किया गया है of meaning by ambition, and power cannot cure conscience. Macbeth can command armies but not a human soul. Conclusion is basically this particular scene exposes Macbeth's collapse into delusion and despair, where prophecy here replaces reason. He continues to dwell upon the witch's prophecy to make himself feel, comfortable that okay, fine, मुझे कोई नहीं हरा पाएगा जब तक कि ये सारे prophecies true ना हो, not realizing that it is further blinding him and taking him a step closer to his own downfall, which is destined, which is sealed. And ambition leaves him with nothing but just anger, that is rage, isolation, and he is just like a yellow leaf, a dried leaf, which is a wasted life, which portrays Macbeth. Please use this in your answer. Portrays him as a nihilistic person who considers life to be that of a meaningless. Okay? So with this, we come to the end of the revision video of Act 5, Scene 3. I hope you're liking my video. If you are, then don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Have a great time preparing for your examination. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, keep studying, keep smiling. Take care. Bye-bye.